started. Good afternoon, young men and women. How are y'all? Give me a big, loud, good afternoon. That'll work. Welcome everybody out to Black Fox this afternoon. We are thrilled to have you. Good turnout of parents or relatives or friends back there for these kids graduating today. And obviously we know that they're glad to have you here. We're so proud of each and every one of you boys and girls. We're going to get started. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to call on some volunteers to come up here and help lead us in the pledge. So young boys and girls, if I call your name, just come up and line up right here on this red line and face the American flag, okay? We'll have Donovan Griffin, Gary and Crawford, Mason Artis, Kaylee Blanton, Ashley Johnson, Jeremiah Beverly, Jaden Johnson, Isabella Arona, Holly Gunter, and Beckham Chantarath. While they're finishing making their way up, if everyone else in attendance would please rise, we will let these young boys and girls lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a seat. Thank you. You can be seated. In addition to welcoming all of our guests that have showed up here today to celebrate with us, I'd also like to introduce a couple of people now, and then we'll save some and introduce a couple of people later. We are privileged enough to have 8 full-time officers that SSCOs are school safety and education officers. They come in and they teach DARE, they teach GREAT, and do other programs in all the city schools and then in 2 of the private schools. I think we've got 5 here with us this afternoon of the 8, and I'd like to at least let you know who they are. Over here on my left is Officer Bill Dry. You can clap for him, that's okay. Woohoo! Way to go, Bill. Also over here, we've got Officer Jay Radzinski, Officer Stan Meeks, Officer Ava Radley. Hey, how come you get so loud of an applause? We also have Officer Mark Todd with us. And we'll introduce the other couple of people here in just a minute. I don't want to steal their thunder. Just in case you folks that are with us, if your child hasn't already came home and told you a little bit about what they've been going through the last 10 weeks in this DARE curriculum, just to give you a little bit of history and background, DARE has been around nationwide pretty much since 1983. That's when it started out in Los Angeles by former police chief Daryl Gates. Implemented the program out there of officers in uniform going in and interacting, teaching the kids, building relationships, things like that. We started teaching DARE here in Murfreesboro in 1992, so it's been around 24 years in our city schools and even in a couple of the private schools here in Murfreesboro. It is a huge joint effort between the city school system and the police department working together to just try to be able to give our kids a few extra tools to put in their toolbox to say no to a drug offer. Because unfortunately, in today's times, they're probably going to be faced with a drug offer a whole lot younger than we would like to imagine that they would be offered drugs. So we want to be able to give them as many tools as we can to say no to that drug offer. And that's a lot of what they talked about in the 10 weeks was just basically making good decisions. How to make a good decision, how to be responsible and respectful and stay safe, stay drug-free and violence-free. We talked about peer pressure, both positive and negative peer pressure. We talked about having empathy, putting yourself in someone else's shoes when they're going through a hard time, communication skills, health effects of drug use. If they choose to ever participate in drug activity, some of the effects that it could have on their body or on their social life, or maybe even they would have to go to court or something like that if they got involved in drugs. We talk about bullying and ways to report that. Talk about being a positive person in the community, risk and consequences. There's just so much material. And if your child has not been able to, have y'all taken your DARE planners home yet? Some of you have, not most of you haven't. If they haven't brought their DARE planners home, they'll be able to do that after today. And you'll be able to go through their workbook and see what they had to do to get all the work they had to do in teams and pairs, individual work, to be able to sit here and graduate today. It is not a drug identification program or anything like that. We don't ever bring drugs into the school or get that specific about it. We just try to teach them about the dangers of being associated with drugs and or violence, either one. Some of the things that we're going to do later this afternoon after we hear from a couple other people, we got some gifts we're going to give out over here on this table. And basically what that is each class was responsible for voting for a DARE boy and a DARE girl in their classroom. We encourage them to look at each other and think, when I see this young person in 5, 10, 20 years in college, in the professional field, will they remain drug and violence free for all their lives? Our hope for each one of you young boys and girls is that all of you all have the tools and you all have the knowledge to stay drug free. But we task them with picking out one person that's already leading by a good example and already showing some of those skills that we talked about in the DARE program. So we're gonna, they got to vote for one boy and one girl in each class, and we'll give an award for that. And then we also have the DARE essay along about week 8, where they had to write an essay explaining how they felt about the DARE program, why they think it's important, what they're going to use out of it to apply to their life to make a pledge to stay drug and violence free. So then we read all those essays and we try to pick the top 3 in each class and give out some awards there, and then you'll even get to hear from the top essay in each class. You'll get to come up here and they'll get to read it for you guys out there. I know sometimes in these big open gyms, if you don't have a loud voice, even if you have a microphone, it gets hard to hear. But we have this microphone set up that records for TV, and I'll explain that to you later about that. But that picks up everything, so don't worry if you can't hear it today. You'll be able to hear some of these things later. So I'm going to shut up for a minute, and I would like for y'all to feel welcome Mr. Thompson, the principal here at Black Fox. Come up, say
a few words. This is always a good day, because I love it when we have the parents here, and I want to welcome all of you and thank you for coming. It means so much to these kids that you showed up, and it's hard. It's hard to show up during the middle of the day anymore, and I understand that it's a sacrifice for many of you, and I thank you for coming, because be honest with you, I say this all the time, without you we wouldn't have them, because you had them. And you let us have them for a while, and we appreciate that. So all of you out here owe a thing. We had Mother's Day Sunday. So I think Mother's Day is not a one-day deal. You know what I mean? You should appreciate your mothers every day, shouldn't you? And respect them. I always like DARE, because DARE is a tool. And it's just up to you now. You have gone through it. You have been educated. Education is a tool. But a tool doesn't do any good if you don't get it out of the toolbox. So what you guys have got to realize is like Sergeant Walker said, as you go through life, you're going to have a lot of offers to do different things. But if you have the tools to meet those decisions that you're going to make in the future, it's up to you. It's not up to your mother. It's not up to your daddy. It's not up to other people. It is up to you. And you must take that responsibility if you're going to be a really high character person. And that's it. That's all I've got to say about that. It's up to you guys. And years from now, I hope to see y'all come back, bring your kids to Black Fox, and if I'm still here, wipe my mouth help me walk down the hallways, because I'll be about 90 years old, okay? I won't be here, but somebody else will be here. And you come back to Black Fox and feel like it's your home. Today, our guest speaker is a pastor, Pastor James McCarroll. Some of you probably know him. He seemed like a really nice guy, but let me tell you something about pastors. Pastors and principals both weren't born that way. You know that? I wasn't born a principal. Some of y'all think that I was born looking like this. If I was, my mama would have killed me on the spot. Okay? We are just like you. I was once 10 years sitting in Nina Bennett's room. We didn't have DARE. It was a different time, right? And I can still remember Miss Bennett. What I remember about Miss Bennett was that her son died in Vietnam, was killed the year I was in her room. And she was very sad. But we loved Miss Bennett. And I learned a lot through that process. We're not born principals or pastors. I found out a few minutes ago that this pastor is a skydiver. So he jumps out of airplanes. And I would say he jumps out of airplanes without parachutes, but that would be testing God way too much. So anyway, and he just seems like he's been at First Baptist for 10 years. But you know, he is a regular person. He was born like you. He ran around, he fought, he said words he shouldn't say, he had opportunities to do things that he shouldn't do. But he had tools and character that he was able to go through with it. Nobody's perfect, but you know what? We're still responsible for what we do. And as a pastor, I haven't heard him speak yet, but I understand he's phenomenal. So as a pastor, I'd like for all of you to think of him as a man and as your speaker who has some wisdom today, Mr. James McCarroll.
How you guys doing? Good. Let me try one more time. How are you all doing? Good. Okay, you good? Yeah. Okay, real quickly, look at that person next to you, say, my friend, my classmate. Tell them you're not just good. Tell them you're great. One more time, tell them you're not just good. You're great. Let me try one more time. How are you all doing? Okay, tell them one more time. You're not just good. You're great. So when he asks, keep asking, tell him when he asks how you're doing, don't tell him you're good. Tell him you're great. Okay, how are you all doing? Thank you so much. So today I want to tell you something that will absolutely, positively, without a shadow of a doubt, irrevocably change your life if you get it. I will tell you the one thing that will propel you higher than anything anyone else can tell you about yourself if you get it. I'll tell you the one secret that every billionaire knows, every trillionaire knows, and definitely every millionaire knows, and every successful person you'll ever meet knows. I'm going to tell you the one thing that every doctor, every lawyer, every teacher, every fireman, every police officer knows. Every person that's ever been successful at whatever they've done, they know this one thing. You want to know what it is? You're great. Now, at the outset, you'd say, well, okay, that really doesn't mean a lot. But I want you to get this. You're not just good. You were born to be great. Many times you may take that for granted, considering the fact that you don't realize how many competitors were fighting to become you. There were over 9 million competitors before you ever became what they call a zygote, or before you ever came to life and you won. Then in the 9 months in which you were in your mother's precious womb, and you were growing and getting fingernails and toenails and hair follicles, and your organs were developing and your body was developing, at any point in that 9 months, if one thing had happened wrong, you would not be here. But you made it. Then after you were born a bouncing baby boy or a bouncing baby girl, and you were crying and you were hollering because the doctor just slapped you, and you breathed the first time, you were breathing because you were already great. It was greatness that allowed you to learn how to crawl. Greatness that moved you from saying dad, dad to being able to say, Father, why is the sky blue? Greatness. There's something inside of each one of you that's so phenomenal that no one can make it but God himself, and that's what we call your life. And so I want to talk to you about being great, because in many cases, if you're not careful, you'll be in environments that make you think that you're not great because your ears don't look a certain way, or because your eyes don't sparkle, or because you don't have long eyelashes, or because your skin looks a certain color, or because you have those funny feet, or you walk a certain type of way. You'll start to think you're not great. That's what makes you unique. And even in that uniqueness, you're great. Even with a mohawk, man, you're great. So can I go a little bit deeper? Y'all want to talk about this? Y'all cool? Y'all cool? Y'all with me? So how you doing? Great. Cool, you got it. Okay, so I heard this story once. It was about a guy. This guy was a sculptor. He came to a small city, kind of like Murfreesboro, a little bit smaller, maybe more like Woodbury. And he comes to this small town with this big block of marble. And everyone's looking at him, and the whole crowd starts gathering around, and he's just, every day he goes out and he chips a little bit of marble off, and he goes back to his house, and every day he chips a little bit of marble off and he goes back to his house. And after like 8 months, he had created a beautiful eagle out of this one block of marble. And this little boy comes in and says, "Sir, how did you know there was an eagle in that rock?" And the man said, "Because it was there the whole time." And I want to talk to you about the greatness that's inside of you, because sometimes you look at yourself and you may not feel great, you may not think you see greatness, but there's an eagle inside of that rock. There's some greatness inside of you, but you have to make up your mind to choose to see yourself not as good, but as great. And so every morning that you get up and people say, "How are you doing?" Tell them, "I'm great." You walk through the grocery store in line helping your mom, and you're putting the tomatoes on the conveyor belt, and they say, "Hey, little girl, how are you doing?" And you tell them, "I'm great." Your mom wakes you up in the morning, she tickles your toes to play with you. You get up out of the bed and say, "Mama, please, it's Saturday. How are you feeling this morning, girl?" You say, "I am great." Now, I want you to get this, because in order to be great and become great, you have to learn how to handle your life in a way that great people handle it. Are you ready for this? First thing, point to your head. Okay? Say this with me. This mind was made to think great thoughts. So that mind you're pointing at, that brain you're pointing at, was designed not to waste its time on stuff that's not of importance. That mind was made to think great thoughts. That mind is the mind that will create the doctor or the lawyer or the pediatrician or the police officer or the librarian. It's going to start in that mind. Keep pointing to that mind. Keep pointing to that mind. I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and I want you to think about 25 years from now who you're going to be. I want you to see that house. I want you to see those little babies that look just like you. I want you to see the car you drive. And I want to see where you go to work. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see yourself driving to work every morning? Keep your eyes closed, eyes closed, eyes closed. This is where greatness begins. It begins with the vision you have for your life. Every point after this needs to be making sure that you get yourself to that place. If you see yourself with a beautiful home, with a beautiful front yard, a nice little dog named Fido, or whatever the case may be, I want you to see that. Open your eyes back up. Could you see it? Yes. Every day that you live, make some decision that will get you closer to that than you are right now. So when you go to school next year, make sure that every grade you get is an A, because A's will lead you to being great. When you get ready to wash dishes, don't just wash dishes and leave macaroni and pieces of cornbread all on the plates. Wash them well, because every decision that you make from now on has to get you to that place that you just saw, which is a place that's based on you being great. So you begin with great thoughts. Someone say great thoughts. Great. Now lift up your hands, lift up your hands. Oh, we'll do it this way, it's a little more fun. Okay. One more time. Here we go. One more time, let's do it together. Okay, these hands, say it with me. These hands were made to do great things. I want you to look at those hands. Look at them very intently. Look at them. Notice the knuckles. Notice the fingernails. Notice the lines. Notice in some cases the dryness. In some cases the wetness. Notice those hands. Look at those hands. Those hands that you're looking at are the hands that will lead you into becoming great. Those hands are the hands that will write out the test that will have 100 on it. Those hands are the hands that will determine which friends you accept and which friends you don't by the way you shake their hands. Those hands are the hands that will build your greatness. Those hands were made to do great things. Use those hands to be great. Don't just throw your bed together if you have to make it up. Use those hands to make it up in a way that's great. If you have to, again, wash the dishes with those hands in a way that's great, because those hands have now been reserved to be what? Great. So if someone tells you to do something that you shouldn't do, what should you tell them? Why? Because those hands are reserved for you to do what? Great things. Now look at your feet. Look at those feet. Some are bigger than others. Don't compare them to your neighbor's feet because they have to deal with their own feet. Okay, so I want you to look at those feet. Say this with me. These feet were made to go great places. One more time. Say it with me. These feet were made to go great places. I want you to think about all the places those feet are about to go. For some people, your feet will go to Italy, some will go to China, some will go to Budapest, some will go to Egypt, some will go to South Africa, some will go to France. If I'm saying a place you like, just throw your hand up. If some will go to China, some will go to Budapest, some will go to France, some will go to Paris, some will go to London, some will go to Chicago, some will go to Florida, some will go to Niagara Falls, some will go to Montreal, Toronto, some will go to Seattle, some will go to Alaska, some will go to the Caribbean. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so at the end of the day, those feet are designed to go great places. Don't take your feet anywhere that's not great. Anywhere where there's trouble, is that a great place? Anywhere where you could get in trouble with your parents, is that a great place? Remember that place you saw in your head? Your feet are going to take you there if you choose to let them take you there. So your feet have been reserved to go where? Great places. Great places. Now, if you get this, I guarantee you, what I'm telling you now is what will make the difference in your life. Your mind was made to think what? Great what? Great thoughts. Great thoughts. Your hands were made to do what? Great things, and your feet were made to go where? Do you know why your mind thinks that way and your hands work that way and your feet guide you to those places? Because you're what? Okay, now one last time, tell that person next to you, say, neighbor, my friend, and my classmate, I have one thing to tell you. Point to them and tell them, you are great. Okay, y'all not looking like, help me out, brothers. Look at each other. Just say one more time, you are great. Tell them, I am great, and we are great. Listen, you're going to be the best class that will ever leave this grade from Black Fox Elementary, and it will be because of one reason and one reason only, and that's because you're not just good, but you're I can't hear you. You're not just good, but you're I still can't hear you. You're not just good, but you're say it with me. I am great. I can't hear it. I am great. This time, point to yourself. Say, I am great. And say this with me. And the world better get ready, because a great person has just been made free. Has just been created and is about to meet it in a few hours. Tell me one more time. What are you? I can't hear you. What are you? I still can't hear you. What are you? One last time. Let all of Murfreesboro hear it. I am.
Awesome. Thank you, Reverend McCarroll, for being with us and taking time out of your day. At this time, Ms. Nunley is going to take over for a minute. We got a performance. So,
fifth graders, would you please rise? And turn.
excellent performance, young people. Can tell you were very well prepared. Y'all ready to get your certificates and find out who won all the stuff? I won't keep you waiting any longer. I was honored and privileged to be able to come back to Black Fox again this year and teach here as well. And man, I had a blast for all 10 weeks, and we got through it. So we're just going to go right here. We'll start with Mrs. Black's class, if you would like to come up. And do me a favor, boys and girls and people in attendance, let's hold our applause until the last child's name has been called for each class. That way we can hear every child's name and pronounce.
All right. Oh, sorry. Okay. Ashira. Jeremy. Could we all stand up, please? Madden. Mina. Tyler. Mallory. Lyric. Jasmariah. Dorique. Ashley. Johnny. Lydia. Donovan. Tarion. Brandon. Gavin. Ricky. Tamia. Isabella. Alonzo.
Hello.
Eduardo. Olivia. Kataya. And Tensei.
We always try to give the teachers just a small token of our appreciation for letting us come in and take up an hour of their day for 10 weeks in a row. We try to give them something different every year, so hopefully it'll come in handy. Thank you very much. All right, in Miss Black's class for Dare Girl, Lydia Newen. There's something in there too. And for the Dare Boy, Jeremy Beverly. And now for the essays. Third place essay goes to Olivia Wilkinson. Second place, Ricky Sapone. And first place will go to Mina Robinson. Can you read this here?
program helps us for the future so we can stay away from drugs. Officer Templeton helped us better understand that DARE program and how it affects us in the future. I know because of DARE that I will never use drugs. What I have learned from DARE is if someone offers you drugs, you have choices, like ignoring and walking away. I learned that drugs are bad and I should not take drugs. I also learned that you should not listen to people that want to do bad things. In conclusion, you should never do bad things. My goals in life because of DARE is to ignore drugs and bad people. As a result of DARE, I will most likely never do drugs.
All right, good job. There you go. Here's your backpack. Thank you. Good job. All right, Mrs. Nunley's class.
Yazan, Britton, Conley, Dominic, Caden, Braden, Zashel, Isabella, Christeona, Jaden, Ty, Asia, Tayshawn, Nathaniel, Isabella, Max, Sam, Desiree, Macy, Diego, Andre, did that turn off?
It keeps cutting out.
Andre, Aaliyah,
I need a new cord.
Kayla, Deshawn, Bobby,
Appreciate it. All right. Miss Nunley's dear girl, Macy Robinson. Dare boy, Braden Graham. You'll make me walk on there. Good job. All right. Well, Macy, I guess you should have stayed up here. Third place essay, Macy Robinson. Second place, Desiree Robinson. And first place, I'll be reading their essay for you, Christeona Jennings. Come on up here.
I thank you for making me understand the meaning of DARE and what DARE is for. I don't know where I will be in 20 years from now, so thank you for making me understand. I hope when I grow up I can take this knowledge with me. I feel that the DARE program is a great program. It helps other kids not to get influenced on drugs in any way. Kids can stay safe from drugs that come their way anytime. What I've learned in DARE program was to think twice about my decisions, and the end of the day I asked myself, did I make a great decision? If someone is trying to make you do something bad, then you either walk away or change the subject and talk about something else. I think DARE program is a great place, great because other kids probably go home and have parents that smoke. Therefore, the DARE program can influence them not to smoke. What can cause them when they smoke and what happens? Dealing with peer pressure can be hard because sometimes it's your friend. You don't want to say no to your friends, then they aren't going to be your friends anymore. Drugs can cause heart problems and kill you. When you have peer pressure and say no and they force you, you need to tell the teachers what they are doing to you. I've learned that before making a decision that you always need to make a decision about everything you do before you do it. Before I make a decision, I think of the DARE decision-making model that really helps me make my decision wisely every time. I promise to always stay drug-free. Never in my life will I take drugs from any problems in my life that I go through. Even if I have peer pressure on me, I will always do the right thing. Even if no one is watching me, I will always be responsible for my own actions and not let other people control them.
All right. Next up is Miss Phillip's class.
Hold on just a minute.
I'll get on the other side so we don't have to fight around this.
Okay, thank you. William. Brooklyn. Malik. Artasia. Kayla. Garion. Mario. Nayu. Donovan. Trey. Amira. Christopher. Matthew. Ethan Newman.
And there's another one.
Anayla. Robin. Sadie. Ethan R. Ayana. Luke, Dylan, Demarius, Ava, and Dalen. It will. Thank you.
All right. Mrs. Phillip's Dare Girl, Ava Trevino. We'll do the Dare Boy and then we'll switch it. Dare Boy, Dylan Smith. Third place essay, Ms. Phillip's class, Nahum Indal. Second place essay goes to Matthew Mason. And reading their essay for you is Miss Ava Trevino. Let's see. You want to hold it or can you see it up there? Hold it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There is a lot that we learned in Dare. How to make good decisions and bad decisions, good choices and bad choices. Some important things we learned. Responsibility, dealing with bullies, no drugs, communication styles, and a lot more. There are the most important things we learned. The DDM, dealing with bullies and communication styles. The DDM and Dare decision-making model, Dare define, means explain what is going on in the problem, assess, gives you all your choices, respond is pick your choices, evaluate is make sure your choices is a good choices. Bullies. Most of us have dealt with them. There are people who are disrespectful. They are people who repeatedly are mean. Dare taught us to tell an adult so that they can make the bullies stop. There are 3 communication styles. There are demanding, confident, and unsure communication. Demanding communication comes on a little strong and rude. Unsure communication may come on scared or frightened of the person you are communicating with. Also, confident communication. This is the best communication because you are respectful but still saying what you want to say. We learned a lot over these 10 weeks. The DDM and dealing with bullies and communication styles. They are very important to keep with you at any age.
Good job. Oh, here's your These essays, all of them are good. The 3 that we've heard from already, make sure that you tune in to Channel 3 if you couldn't hear because of not everybody's as loud as Big Mouth me up here, so make sure you tune in to listen to those. All right, next up, Miss Rischer's class. Yeah, I'll put it up later.
Okay. Auxiliary. Thank you. Adrian. Beckham. Lucas. Trinaya. I think she's out of order. I'm just gonna give her one and I'll change it out. Diane, Mariko, Jamesia, Saida, Christopher, Holly, Jaden, Amani, Madison, Michael, Lily, Carmen, Sam, Nikias, Zakari.
All right. Dare girl, Azera Aguirre. Dare boy, Christopher Graybill. Third place essay, Isaiah Pillow. Second place essay, Madison Leggett. And first place essay that gets to read for you, Amani Hancock. Good job. Let's see. You want me to take it out of there? Can you read it all right there? Take it out if you want. There you go.
The DARE program that I participated in at Black Fox Elementary was very educational and interesting. The DARE officer that gave us information presented it to us in a very fun way. I remember one lesson we did, a four-corner survey. It was fun. It was cool and fun. Our officer taught us that drugs and alcohol cannot only affect you, but those around you. She taught us that drugs are addictive, so that means even if you try drugs just one time, you can become addicted. I also learned that drugs and alcohol can take over a person's life. Drugs and alcohol can also cause your life to go downhill and even kill you. They modify your behavior and may even cause you to harm someone you love. Many people have made many poor and bad decisions while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. There are also many other consequences that someone may suffer abusing drugs and alcohol. If you are caught using or selling drugs, you can face a long time in jail. This costs you money you will have to spend on fines and penalties and cost time away from your family. DARE also taught me use drugs and alcohol for various reasons, Some people may do this because of peer pressure, stress, or because they simply think it's cool. Either way, drugs and alcohol abuse is never a problem solver. It is only a problem. Whatever reason drug and alcohol abuse is, for DARE taught me the consequences outweigh the high that it gives it to you. So it is never worth it to try, not even one time.
Good job.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, Miss Inglis's class.
Mason, Kaylee, Christian, Brooklyn, Amara, Alexis, Travis, Montserrat, Kaylin, Tori, Trent, Kaya, DJ, Solomon, Darion, Isaiah, Madison, Valeria, Nolan, DeMonte, Kelsie, and Daniel.
All right. Dare girl, Amara Chesterfield. Dare boy, Travis Crawford.
Stay up here for a second. Come here.
Third place essay, Travis Crawford.
I figured you might want to stay up here.
Second place essay goes to Madison Rainey. Who gets to read the last essay? First place essay, Kelsie Slate.
You don't look as excited as all they were that you want. Are you nervous? You're all right.
You want to just leave it in there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here.
I love DARE program. I feel like it is very useful and educational for kids. Kids have a better chance of staying drug-free, and DARE is fun. It has lots of skits and has movies to watch. What I have learned from DARE is that drug offers and peer pressure is not only going to come from your friends, but from anywhere you go. One thing I did not know is that over 400,000 people die in America from tobacco use each year. I think that it is from peer pressure. That kind of peer pressure is not right, but one good way is to deal with peer pressure is to walk away or to avoid going around places you know is bad. It is important to stay drug-free because you can die or it can cause health problems. Smoking and tobacco can cause brain problems, your teeth can fall out, and that is why it's very important to make good decisions. I vow to stay clear from drugs in my life, and I will never smoke or drink or do drugs in my life. I promise.
Good job. Good job.
We enjoy reading all of those essays. It's so hard to narrow it down to the top 3 in every class because they're all so good, and you actually get to see as an instructor that they were actually paying attention and that you weren't just up there and they're like off in la-la land, because when you read what they write down about what they think about and what they learned, you really see that they were paying attention and it all clicked. We just hope you guys use all that stuff you wrote down in the future to be great. All right? Before we dismiss, I've got just a couple of things here, a couple more gifts. Mr. Thompson, if you'll make your way up, we've got something for you. Thank you again for letting us come in year to year after year and teach. Appreciate your support. And also, Reverend McCarroll, if you could come up. He's been a guest speaker so many times, he's probably got all the gifts, but you would have needed this earlier in the morning, right? Thank you both. Couple of announcements real quick. If you got a program, I don't know what I did with mine, but if you got a program when you came in, if you'll flip over to the very back page, we just like to publicly thank those contributors and sponsors of the DARE program. There are some anonymous supporters that donate money every year, or that give something or some time or something in some way. We like to always say thank you to those businesses or entities. A couple I will point out because of something coming up. Skate Center West always provides a free skate night for all the DARE graduates from all the schools this semester. So this time it's on next Monday, the 16th, from 5 to 7:30. You don't have to remember that. We're going to send something home if we hadn't already with your child, so they'll be able to remind you when skate night is. That is next Monday. Parents, you're welcome to come, and if you just want to watch your kids skate or hang out, there's no charge for that. If you want to risk putting on a pair of skates and skating with your child, have at it. There's a small charge for that. Guys and girls, if you're coming to skate night, you got to make sure to wear your DARE graduation shirt you got on now. That's how the skate people know that you get in for free. So wear your shirts next Monday night. Siblings are welcome to stay and skate too. There's a small charge for siblings, but the DARE graduates get in for free, and you guys get a piece of pizza and a cold drink for free as well. So that's always, and if you don't like pizza, you get a candy bar or something like that. Also, you've noticed that James from Channel 3 is here this afternoon with us. He's filmed a whole graduation ceremony, and that's what I was talking about earlier. We'll send home a notice of when they're going to rebroadcast this DARE graduation so that you can see yourself graduate. Y'all can hear the essays and things like that. Uh-oh, Darren's made a reappearance. There's our official DARE mascot. Hey, Darren. All right, one more thing before we let you go, if you were, listen up, boys and girls, if you won Dare Boy or Dare Girl, or you were a first, second, third place essay winner, any of those, we're going to take a quick picture up here with Darren after we get through. And parents, you're welcome to stay and take pictures of your child with Darren or with a Dare officer or whatever. So thank y'all again for coming. Thank you, Mr. Thompson and Black Fox, for having us out again. And y'all have a good rest of the day.